when making tricks with the Cuphead, there's a few different ideas to keep in mind. To start with, you can break it down into different categories. And the first category you can focus on is getting the ball into the cup. So you can think about the catch. You can just work on different types of catches. So how can the ball get into the cup? There's obviously the throw, it's really the first one, and maybe also a placement. And of course, you can make any sort of numbers of throws and placements into the cup. But that would be the first place to focus on, instead of trying to think, okay, I have this Cuphead, what am I going to do with it? Oh, I'm going to make a crazy trick. What's that going to be? I don't know. I don't use Cupheads. I just normally juggle, regular clubs and regular balls. Well, if you want to start playing around with what's possible, the first category I could suggest you focus on is the catch. Because that's really what makes the Cuphead unique, right? It makes it different than other clubs. You can use this club like any other club, and maybe start there. That's also fun. Before you start to do the actual trick creation with a ball and a club, is just get familiar with it as a club. Because you don't need to start from zero. You can build upon all of the club and all of the ball juggling that you already do. And once you become familiar with how this club behaves for those kinds of tricks, and if you want to start to combine the ball and the club together, I could suggest you start to think about the catch first of all, and focus on that. So you can throw the ball into the cup, you can place the ball into the cup, you can throw the ball, you can do whatever body catches or other types of things. Maybe to get the ball in the cup another way, you can go upside down and scoop it around. There's a million variations, but the idea being that when you first start playing around, instead of trying to think of every idea possible, first just start thinking, okay, how can I get that ball there into the cup? And think about the catch. Maybe try to come up with 10 ways to throw the ball into the cup and 10 ways to place the ball in the cup in different configurations. Maybe you place the ball into the cup in some sort of, arm curl way. If you're coming in, do a high throw, and you have a little catch there or something. You can try different numbers and different combinations of objects. Obviously, it's most simple to start with one club and one ball, and don't stress out about having more things in the air at the same time, just at the very beginning. And once you come up with a catch or something that you really like, then you can start to add more clubs or more balls. But first start with the catches, and after you come up with this idea of, okay, these are some different ways I can catch the ball into the cup. And the second thing to think about is how to get the ball out of the cup. So we can kind of split up our focus of what we're trying to create. Once the ball's in the cup, how does it come out? There's two really, really simple, basic ways to start with. And the first one is that you're going to do a multiplex, where the club crosses to the other hand. So it looks like this. That's kind of one of the most simple ways to get the ball out of the club. And one of the coolest features of actually having the Cuphead with the ball is that you can do these multiplexes where the objects split in the air. And here in this one, the club is crossing to the other hand. To get the ball back into the cup, I'm just going to do a straight up throw and hand across. So here's getting the ball out of the cup with the club crossing. And the second way to do it, that's really one of the most basic things, is to have the ball cross to the other hand, and you do a multiplex as well. So the club stays to the same side and the ball crosses. So here's the club crossing, and here's the ball crossing. But of course, there's a million different ways to get the ball out of the cup. And it's worth spending some time focusing on that just on its own. So, you can do anything to get the ball out of the cup. You can do throws, you can do multiplexes, you can, obviously the opposite of the placement is you just take it back out of the cup. So what can you do with that, right? If there was another ball, you throw the ball and then you can take out. And at the beginning you might think, well, that's pretty basic, it's kind of obvious. But if you break it down into simple parts, you can start to think, okay, if I'm going to take the ball out of the cup, how can I do that? Maybe I'm going to do it from around the other side, do it behind my head, or whatever you want to do. Break it down into simple parts. First, think about how is the ball going to get into the cup. Then after that, maybe try 10 different ways to get the ball out of the cup. And of course, at the end, the third thing you can do is combine both of those together. So for example, what you want to do is have some sort of way that the ball goes into the cup that then naturally flows out of the cup. Little example here like this, right? So I'm getting the ball into the cup with a throw, and the club is straight up and down. And the way I get the ball out of the cup is I make the club fall off the ball, and I have a cross arm position here. So I would really suggest you break it down into those parts. Think about the catch, then think about how the ball leaves the cup, and then think about combining those two things together so that they flow naturally from one to the other. After you've done that, maybe with one ball and one club, then you can start to do the same game with different combinations, 2 clubs, 1 ball, 2 balls, 1 club, and everything else from there.